Better late than never. It took more than 90 days, or even longer than that if you consider going back even a few more months, but the state legislature working overnight to get that vote in and get it passed and have a bipartisan budget. The funding it will cover and the tax changes that are now coming because of these votes.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good morning, everybody. We are following the breaking news out of Lansing on this 4th day of October, well before that continuation that allowed for the previous budget to last all the way through next Wednesday, getting it done overnight as of 4:30 this morning.
And there are a lot of different things in this budget. You've probably heard a lot of them talked about when it comes to education. There's some changes with the gas tax, but the bottom line there is you're not going to notice anything different at the pump. And of course, that tax on top of for marijuana dispensaries, which is 24%, which is on top of a sales tax and an excise tax. So fallout still to come from that.
Yeah, and we're also hearing from some of the legislatures about how they didn't get everything they wanted on one side or the other, but this was about compromise, and it was painstaking. It did take months, and there was some frustration on both sides, but they did come up with something that they all could agree on, at least most of them. So now we're preparing for this to head to Governor Whitmer's desk.
And she is expected to sign that and end this before the upcoming deadline, which is next Wednesday. Let's get to Shante Passmore, who's tracking all that progress that happened overnight. Shante.
Yeah, guys, I can tell you a lot of new developments overnight while a lot of folks were sleeping because, as you mentioned already at the top of this newscast, lawmakers spent all night on the floor passing bills. And one of those bills, and you got to pay attention a little bit closely here, eliminating the sales tax on gas for cars. But really what that was a swap with the road tax, because what was happening, according to what we heard in the last 30 minutes from a lawmaker, a lot of that revenue generated from that sales tax, it wasn't going towards road repairs. So what does that mean? What's the takeaway here? That means you really won't notice a difference at the pump, despite there not being an elimination on the gas tax here, the gas sales tax, I should say. But meanwhile, if you're just joining us this morning, what we have on the table is a bipartisan budget deal. So what are some of the other major highlights we're following closely right now? Well, it looks like the education bill passed in both chambers and is heading to the governor's desk. This will also cover free school meals. The budget also includes changes to taxes on tips and overtime. Workers can now deduct federal taxes from state filing, meaning more money for workers. Lawmakers voted and approved the proposal that would place a 24% wholesale tax on Michigan's cannabis industry. That was something a lot of industry experts opposed strongly. That's expected to generate $420 million, which is expected to tackle highway repairs. And this morning, we're hearing directly from the governor following this budget deal.
We got a budget, Michigan, and here's what it means for you. We made the biggest roads deal in Michigan history so we can keep fixing those damn roads. We're also lowering costs by rolling back the retirement tax on our seniors, ending taxes on Social Security, expanding the working families tax credit, protecting Medicaid, and getting rid of taxes on tips and overtime.
Now, if you could summarize what are the 4 takeaways from this budget deal, according to the governor, that would look at things like costs, roads, public safety, and education. But look, guys, it took us 94 days to get here. We are now here. Next, what happens? It heads over to Whitmer, and she says she's looking forward to signing it. We're live this morning. I'm Shante Passmore, Local 4.